Who is talking in the background? Oh, I'm coughing as we're live. Okay, we're here. Hi, kids. How is everybody? Well, welcome to 2020. What the hell, girls? What the hell? Okay, let's just talk about this year for a minute, okay? We start off, I'm like, all right, new year, new me. I start off with a divorce. My ex and I, love you, Joe. How you doing, babe? We're in a great place. We're friends. All right, look at me. I'm all sweaty and greasy. What a way to start a show. Okay, year's going good. I'm waiting for the locusts. The aliens, the starships. I don't know what's coming
It's
next.
not locusts. It's murder hornets. They're here.
Aliens
we got
are
murder
the only
hornets.
thing
We don't
left.
have the locusts. It's not as biblical, but we got murder hornets. So there's that. So
If
you know,
one
get at it.
more idiot post a picture. Is this a murder hornet? I swear I'm going to lose my mind. They're posting pictures of just regular bees. I'm like, does anybody do any research before I'm like, have you seen a picture of a murder hornet? Do you Google anything?
No,
they're the size of my hand. And they're posting pictures of little honeybees.
They're huge. They're like 4 inches.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? I think I found one.
They're like
actually
4 inches.
in my shoe. I found one. It looked like the fattest, biggest bee I've ever seen. It was like this fat and this long. And I found one the other day. I take my dad for walks, and we were going to do our exercise. And there was this big ass life-sized freaking bee. And I was like, what is this? It's so scary. I almost put my foot in the shoe right on top of it. That might have been it.
No, girl.
We might have had a sighting, but it was dead.
They're in like Oregon or Washington State. That's it. They're just in the woods over by Canada, girl. That's it. That's
not
it.
Why wouldn't they want to come to California?
No, girl.
It's much better than
the
woods.
No.
Sorry.
Oh my God. No. Look it. Unless this thing is big enough to pick up a baby, people, it's not a murder hornet. Get over it, okay?
Okay, fine. But I saw a big ass bee and it was really huge and it was in my shoe.
Katrina, you remember that one guy you dated when we first met?
Uh-oh.
It's about the size of him. Feel me? Like
huge.
His stranger wood.
Huge.
No. Yes.
Massive.
His stranger wood. That's the size of a murder hornet. So now you have like the measuring. That's the size of a murder hornet. I've seen the pictures of his manhood. That's the size of a murder hornet, darling.
It's large.
Marie, do you need to know? Do you want me to give you
I'm trying to pull up
an
a picture.
example of a murder. I'm good.
She's too innocent for that, Jeffrey. She's too sweet for that.
Girl, you were on that show where she got the shot to the eye. That's like our #1 episode. People are loving that. Just a shot to the eye. Shot to the eye.
The only thing I'm scared of is palmetto bugs. They scare the living bejesus out of me. They're as big as like kittens, and they fly. And I run and I scream and I break brooms and I don't like them.
Girl, just say what it is.
Ugly.
A cockroach. A cockroach. Kind of like that guy.
Yeah, a Florida cockroach. Yeah.
I mean, like a certain guy,
they're not
that uses peach blossom foundation from the dollar store. Just saying, that holds a Bible upside down.
Burn it.
Just saying. Vera, this is... wait, Vera. She's showing us. Vera's going old school.
I got a picture of the murder.
Vera, show it again. We going old school tonight. Oh,
Go lower. I can't see it.
White screen.
To the left. To the right.
That's a white screen.
A little to the right, Vera.
To the left.
Little to the left.
So much fun. Oh, there we go.
There we go.
Look at that thing. It don't even look like a regular bee, folks. This is what I'm trying to tell you, kids. So please.
It looks like a plastic bug that you got in a Cracker Jack box or a gumball machine.
For the love of everything holy, please stop posting pictures.
Doesn't look like it can be real.
No, then they're posting pictures of regular bees, just like, oh my God, it was a murder hornet. No, fool, no. Go back to your life. Stop trying to be special.
But I actually think the murder hornets were the easiest part of our year.
Yes.
Because now
they definitely were.
So many of us haven't been to work.
I gotta switch headphones again, guys.
Yeah. I don't know. We took Tuesday off. We paused the show. We definitely did. And then Thursday we were off. We took 2 shows off because James was in Missouri for his uncle's funeral. So we've lost 2 uncles in 2020.
Yep.
They just die at inconvenient times. Like, James, how are you doing?
I'm here. I have blonde hair now. That was a change.
I love your hair.
Looking ready for summer.
Thank you. But no, I'm doing good. I was able to go home and kind of see my family for a little bit and hang out with some old friends and had a great time. So it was fun. We had like some really weird shenanigans in the cemetery last Thursday night. It was kind of strange.
He's doing that Bruce Willis look. What was that movie where Bruce had the blonde? There's Vera.
The Fifth Element. Was he blonde? The Fifth Element?
Yes, girl. He came back. I picked him up at the airport and he was blonde. I was like, what happened was...
I like the tuft of blonde there, James.
Thank you. I could have put a little bit more effort into styling my hair today, but I didn't.
Like, what had happened? Well, actually, I didn't even notice till we were almost back home, like 40 minutes later, when I really looked over and I was like, what happened was what?
I took my hoodie off. And I was like, I did something while I was there. And he looked at me and I thought he looked at it. And then it was like a good 30 minutes later, he finally noticed that I'd colored my hair blonde.
No, I had the oil changed on the car and like smoke was blowing in through the air conditioner. And I'm like, this can't be normal.
Now I can't hear Jeffrey.
Oh.
Okay. Well, if the car was heating and smoking and doing craziness, that makes sense that you didn't notice the hairdo.
Right.
No, so I was a little distracted. So, but crazy things have gone on since we've been off the air that we have to just address. That it's heartbreaking, it's very upsetting. And for me, I have a soon-to-be 9-year-old that is a mixed child that has a lot of questions. It's tough to answer, you know? He's adopted. He has 2 white brothers. And since I've adopted him, I've never lied to him. I've always kind of told him. And the hard thing is he's always been in denial about who he is. You know, he would say that he's white. How do you explain that when a kid is in denial that he's not white? And then all this stuff is going on and he's just kind of accepting the fact that he isn't white and that he's mixed. But he really doesn't understand, you know? And it's my job to explain to him all of these things and that, no, you have to look out and you have to be careful. And that the world's a different place for you. Just like it kind of was for Daddy. You know, this is a very touchy subject right now. And I think the world's reacting. And I think it's a day of no more excuses. And people are not having it. Girls, Wendy's got canceled.
What?
Wendy's got canceled.
What do you mean?
Wendy's is canceled. They canceled, girl.
Oh, I didn't. I had not known.
Wendy's, Taco Bell, there was a list of them. Popeye's Chicken, which I'm like, okay.
What?
Like, there's a whole list of them. I think it's because they're like a corporation. They all like donated to Trump, like $400,000. There was Taco Bell, Wendy's, Popeyes, Oh, I wish I had the whole list in front of me, but
But McDonald's is still good.
Apparently for now. But they all went and donated to Trump. And I think after he went and like kind of did that speech and had the protesters cleared out so that he could go over to that church, and then he mistakenly hold that Bible upside down, I think that was kind of the final straw for a lot of people. And I am really curious to see if that's going to cost him the election.
Okay, so I have a question. What was he supposed to do? Leave a bunch of protesters that are threatening violence?
Well, what was his purpose of going over
or
to
move the
church?
speech? What was he supposed to do? I think his purpose was probably just to show that things aren't as bad as you may see on the news, give a illusion of safety, security. The place where we would look to for leadership is still intact.
After he hung out in a bunker?
I mean, yeah, I don't want to see the leader of my free world getting eggs thrown at him or getting spray painted or whatever some protester might possibly do.
That might.
I want to see him looking like a leader.
By shooing out peaceful people?
Were they peaceful though?
Were
they peaceful?
You can look at the videos. They were peaceful, and they just poof. They gassed him. They were shooting rubber bullets to clear them out so he could walk over. Girl, he ain't got no business being in the church. He was worried about what they did to it. He's lucky when he walked over near it, the damn thing didn't catch on fire and just went poof. And then, can we talk about Republican? Oh, I'm like, what is this? I'm like, is this like when they cherry picked the Bible to go against the homosexuals? Now they're hating on the Episcopalian bishop that was like Trump was very upset with him using the Bible and doing the photo op in front of the church, and they were calling him out for it. Now they're hating on the bishop there for calling out Trump, that saying he used it as a photo op and for what he did to the protesters. So then they went on the attack mode. I should say
he did heft it into the air like a football,
and it was upside down. Can we just talk about that? Like people are, they posted these things about him and Hitler. Like, put all that bullshit aside, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's just talk about that. You, Katrina, you want a leader. You're telling me you want a leader that's too stupid to know that he's holding the Bible upside down?
I didn't say that. I said I want a leader that looks like a leader, and I don't want him getting disrespected on TV when I'm trying to listen to what he's trying to say, or I'm trying to give him the proper respect. Whether I believe with his policies or not, right. I do think that he deserves a level of respect as our leader in a national address. So, I mean, I think his publicist must be like shooting him or herself in the face right now after that. But I mean, we didn't need that. The country didn't need that. We also don't need any more damn tweets. However,
no, somebody needs to cut off his Wi-Fi and call Verizon and tell them to cut his service. They need to shut him down.
You know,
he's taking his meds.
Can I tell you a secret? One of my clients is the owner and creator and CEO of Twitter. And every time I see him, I have to bite my tongue. And I really, really, really want to ask him every single time. So are you ever going to accidentally cut off the Trump account? Are you ever going to slow that down? Or I can't say that because I'm not working.
Well,
trying to be professional.
One of the things Trump did for us, thank you, Donnie, was that little executive order that wasn't really much that he did for the social medias. As soon as he did that, within hours, we could now advertise on Twitter, because before I couldn't advertise because I had swore on my account. So it wanted me to go and basically wipe out all of my Twitters because I had swore. Now I can advertise on there. Facebook, we're still fighting. So when they wanted me to review one of my things because they said it was political, we might have political affiliation, which I promise we don't, because I don't really care for either side. So folks watching that maybe just tuning in, because we've been watching, people have been chilling on our posts and we've been fighting a lot. Some of them have been seeing our humor. Some of them we've had some really, really good conversations, especially about racism, about police brutality, what's just been going on. I don't like Democrats. I don't like Republicans. I'm not happy with any of the leadership in our country. And I think everything that's gone on has really brought out proof that we don't have an answer for systemic racism in this country. Nobody has done enough to stop it. And we need solutions to the problems. And I think what's happening right now is just history repeating itself. And people seem to forget that. Like, this is what our country was founded on, right? The Boston Tea Party, Civil War. How the hell did we get here? It's almost like America was founded on like an ancient Indian burial ground or something, right? You think?
Yeah.
Because, it wasn't anybody's land. We didn't like try to get away from like Europe or anything, did we? Like, it's almost like everybody's forgotten American history and we're just cherry picking that like we did the Bible. Like, I just don't understand like how we forget history. And now everybody's so upset when it's like, all of you people, like, forget how we got here, how you got the rights that you had. And now, because you don't really care about the cause, it's a problem. But then, as somebody that's had small businesses for years, people are like, I mean, I don't know what the answer is. I don't know how to fix it. I don't.
Well, where on the pendulum do you swing? Where do you fall? What are your thoughts?
I feel like now's the time. Now's the time. This is what we have to do. Because
do you think we have to riot?
Yeah, I do. Because you know what? Everybody was, on the Republican side, because they were ready to riot over masks and being forced to stay in their house. They were storming a Capitol building with guns. Where was the police with riot gear that day? They were blocking hospital access. Was there police with riot gear standing by that day? I didn't see pictures of them on Twitter. I don't watch.
Did they actually do any damage, though? Because now the rioters are killing people. They've decimated multiple cities in Los Angeles, like just in my state, in California, in the latter part of it. Los Angeles has been destroyed. I live in Orange County, so here it's been a little less affected. My particular town hasn't been very affected. We've had a bunch of protests. There's about 4 a day, but we haven't had violence. But in the neighboring towns, in the county down the street, things are on fire. People are dying. Like, I know several people who lost their businesses. One of my friends lost her jiu-jitsu studio. What does that have to do with anything? Why would someone who's trying to make a political statement or who's trying to affect change, who's trying to affect new laws, why would you decimate someone's jiu-jitsu studio? I don't see the correlation. I don't see how you're getting your point across. If you want to affect change and you want the police to somehow see your point, how are you achieving that through violence?
Why did they drop tea into the Boston
The
Harbor?
Boston Tea Party is taught as American history, and it's taught as the quintessential American revolution, and it was an act of terrorism. Violence affects all the time. People protesting brought us the 5-day work week and the 40-hour work week, and people protesting bought women the right to vote. People protesting ended slavery. Protest is a way of getting your voice heard. You have to be allowed to protest.
Okay, I fully support protest. I support protest. I said violence. I said rioting. I said, how does that get your point across? That I don't support at all. I think that's ridiculous. Protesting, I'm all for.
But if you are being attacked first,
right?
The first of the violence in Minneapolis was a peaceful protest. I watched it live on Facebook right before we went on air Tuesday night last week, and it was peaceful right up until the point that the police started firing into the crowd. It was not violent. It was close to 800 people marching across town. It was very peaceful. The police instigated the violence that night, and it hasn't stopped.
And I think, right, Vera, and that's something I point out a lot too. And I think that's something that gets left out a lot in the story. If you don't watch mainstream media, which I don't, I like to go on Twitter because you see a lot of people's posts. You see a lot of actual videos of people that are there in the moment of what's going on. You're seeing like live video feeds. That protest was peaceful.
How about the multiple videos we've seen of the press getting attacked this week? The Australian reporter was punched in the face. There was tear gas fired at an ABC reporter. They arrested a black CNN reporter, and all these people were doing is reporting. We have freedom of the press in this country. There is no reason that any of these reporters should be attacked or arrested.
Hold on. I disagree. You can't say that just because you're the press, you have free reign to do anything. You can't break the law. If people are telling you to move, if you're in a dangerous area,
they're
then you
not
should move.
breaking the law. They were reporting.
Okay, but
the CNN reporter was standing where he was told to stand, and then he and his entire crew were arrested for standing where they were told to stand.
Was it the whole crew or was it just
happened
him?
On air?
I thought it was just him that ended up getting arrested because they were still filming him.
It was his whole crew. They were still filming up until the time that the police officer insisted he set the camera down, and the camera was still rolling as they were arresting the crew and the female producer.
I don't know. I think that makes for good
These
TV.
Are incredible violations of our civil liberties. They are eroding our civil liberties.
And I think too,
we as a people have got to stand up
to that first protest, Katrina. I think had they shot into that crowd that was protesting at the Capitol building where they were all armed, I think absolutely it would have went insane. But it would have been a whole different ball game because they were all armed and ready to go.
Why didn't anybody shoot on them?
Right, because they were armed.
They stormed the Capitol with the intent of overturning the government because they didn't like what the governor had to say.
Well, and that,
but they didn't. But they didn't. They didn't. They didn't shoot anybody.
The Capitol. They pushed their way past armed guards.
Okay, but they didn't break anything. They didn't murder anyone. They didn't cause much destruction. They didn't do all the things that these riots are causing.
No one was.
But two, we also don't know who. Like, there's all this footage of all these like crazy. Like, it's like watching a horror movie. Like that dude dressed in all black at the AutoZone with the umbrella. And like him going up, like he's what was that freaking? It's the craziest thing I've ever watched.
The guy, the ex-cops breaking out the windows.
Supposedly, the alleged ex-cop, and then there's all these other videos of these people all dressed up, and you know the people going up to him like, "What are you doing? You're not helping this cause. Like, stop doing this. We didn't ask you to do this."
Mm-hmm.
So there's so many people out there like, stop. Don't do this. So like, I think it gets to a point where it's such a catch-22. And I think there's such a bigger picture of when you're not heard. And again, I think it goes back to history, right? Where when you're not heard year after year after year, you know, when peaceful protests don't work, when trying it the nice way doesn't work, what do you have left? And I'm not saying that I know that I have the answers. You know, I don't know how to fix the country. You know, I'm not a politician. I'm not black. I don't.
They were peaceful protests.
I saw
They
the
turned
videos. I
violent
agree with that. I agree.
because
I
of
do believe that.
escalating aggression by the
Yes.
police.
I disagree. I disagree. I think that the protests are on one end of the spectrum and the riots and the violence are on other ends of the spectrum. I think that the rioters came to just take advantage of the situation. I feel like they had that planned and they just came for a come up. I don't think they were protesting. I think the protesters were doing their business over here safely, quietly, peacefully. And a few of them yelled. A few of them had some things to say. But for the most part, they were perfectly okay.
Well, there are reports that there was people coming in from other states and other places that came in to start trouble.
Yes.
Whether that's
there were some in Auburn when we had a peaceful rally here.
Mm-hmm.
There were
there
5
was
or 6
that happened in
pickup trucks
Syracuse,
circling
Rochester.
the rally the entire time.
Mm-hmm.
I think
the only
that
reason
you're going to
trouble
have.
didn't start is that APD was marching.
Right.
But you're going to have bad in no matter what, whether it's in the police, whether it's in protesters or whatever. There's always going to be bad people. Not everybody's there with good intentions. Not every police officer goes on a call with good intentions, but there is plenty that are. And that's the problem is there, you don't know if this police officer you're throwing bricks at or you're trying to shoot at is a good guy or a bad guy. I think we need stricter laws for police officers hurting people, that they need to be a higher punishable because of the position that they are put in when they receive that job. I think they need to be held more accountable. And then maybe they'll stop hurting people if they actually go to prison for it, is what I think. Because that police officer had no right to put his hands on that man like that. No right. None of them did. But I have friends that are police officers and they're not like that. My husband's a firefighter. He's not like that. He saves people's lives and these people are being hurt because of what some man did who was obviously sick in his head, that he hurt that man like that. Killed him. I say hurt. No, he killed him. So, and that's what the problem is. I think that, yes, people should express themselves. Yes, people should be angry. People should be able to get there, but innocent people that are losing their businesses. Innocent people are getting hurt. What about the poor police horse that they broke his face? What did he didn't, it was a horse. Like he doesn't have a choice to be there. And you smashed him in the face with a brick and broke his face? Like, why? Like, it's so out of hand. And it's how does that honor this man that lost his life? Because it doesn't. It's more
exactly
violent.
right.
And I think that's what you're trying to say.
That's what I have a problem with, the violence. I say protest, please do protest. I actually got arrested in college for protesting, and I can't get into Canada now. I'm all for protesting. I am not for rioting. I am not for violence. I think that just defeats the purpose. I think that takes the attention away from where it's supposed to be. That's all.
And today, and my husband was on a medical call helping somebody. They had to call the police. And
I'm sorry, I'm
driving
not
by the
Marie at all.
I'm sorry, can you not hear me? I said my husband was on a call. They had to call the police in, and some kids were driving around saying, "Fuck you, you fucking pigs! You fucking racist! You this that." It was like 2 young cops that are like, "What the heck?" And my husband's like, "Is this what they've been doing to you guys?" And they're like, "Yeah, this car's following us, and these kids keep driving around, calling us names and stuff, and we're just standing here." I mean, these young cops weren't doing anything. They were trying to help some homeless people. I mean, it's just like you're interfering with them doing their jobs. That is not protesting. That is not getting your point across. It's not that you are harassing people. Like, and the thing is, burning down businesses, hurting people, how does that honor this man that died? Like, it really doesn't. You're just hurting our country. I don't understand. Well, don't we want change? Don't we want to be better? Don't we want to stop the violence? Isn't this the point of Black Lives Matter? Stop the violence against Black men. But you're going to do it with violence.
Well, and women
That's
children.
so you don't stand for the cause. You don't stand for the cause. Like it's not. I've been reading up on it. That's not what it's about. It's about police officers not treating these men with the way that they treat them and killing them while they're restraining them because they're suffocating them basically.
Okay,
But
now see,
yeah.
I definitely agree with
That's
all of that. I agree with you. But at the same time, I don't think that we need to condemn all of the police because there's a few bad apples. Yes, I think those people who commit crimes, who are police officers who we are entrusting with their lives, should be held accountable. But I don't believe that we should just condemn every police officer and say defund the police because that's what they're doing in my state. City Council of Los Angeles is putting up on the ballot that California should defund the police $150 million in California. And I think that's absolutely a terrible idea. I think that's ridiculous. I've seen all of these protesters with signs that say defund the police. Okay, well, if you're going to defund your first line of protection, what is your line of defense going to be then? Who are you going to call when you have an emergency? When someone's breaking into your house, when your husband's beating you, when you have an emergency, when you're scared? What are you going to do? Who are you going to call if we don't have police? Then what? We just released all of these prisoners so that we could
if
make
you have
room.
a militarized police that has tanks, what police force needs tanks?
Well,
that's my question. Why do you need $10 million for tanks?
Girl.
Because some people like to set whole towns on fire. They should have been run over by a tank.
No.
Yes.
No.
Whoever lit a town on fire, whoever's burning up buildings, should get taken out by a tank.
No, you know why they need a tank? So Trump can enact martial law. That's why they need a tank.
Okay. They've had tanks long before Trump was even a figure.
That's true.
They've had tanks since the beginning of time.
It's for the next plague. It's for when the locusts come next month or the aliens, so they can lock us all in camps.
Maybe if they'd have used the tanks, Long Beach wouldn't be decimated and on fire. Maybe Huntington Beach wouldn't be on fire.
French gendarmes don't even carry guns.
Yeah, and the French have never won a war. The French have never done shit. French are pussies, no offense, but they are.
Oh my God. Well, okay.
Another thing.
I think the French just had a 4 million people march. They shut down the gas and electric.
What?
People are very militant. That's not true.
Okay, so here's another issue with this problem. So now they are releasing information on George. They're showing that he was in porn. I don't know if it's true, but they're showing porn claiming that it's him. They're now saying that that his rap sheet. Oh my gosh, I look so shiny. This is so embarrassing.
Because that's what they do every single time.
People,
they villainize
They don't do it to white people because if you look at that other boy that was what was it, the beginning of the month, beginning of May. Oh gosh, Drew.
But don't forget that there's a swimmer at UCLA who raped a girl and was caught and got
because it could ruin his.
Because he's a
good
the
judge
kid.
didn't want to ruin. No, the James, help me please because I don't have the iPad. He was shot supposedly next to his girlfriend. Damie, something with a D. Oh, of course, his name's gonna just jog my mind. Leave my mind. The cops they had a no-knock warrant.
Chauvin?
What?
Chauvin? The one that was charged with murder?
He was a white dude. He just got...
Devin Chauvin, I think his name is?
I don't think so.
For George Floyd, right?
No. This is not about George. This just happened like at the beginning of the month. And like this is another one people like to throw up and nobody's upset about him. And the thing is so this dude was in his apartment. They had a no-knock warrant because apparently somebody said that he wasn't supposed to have guns. He had a juvenile record, allegedly, that said he wasn't allowed to have weapons until he was 30. He was in his 20s.
Breonna Taylor and her boyfriend Kevin Phillips?
This is another one. It was a white dude. It was a white dude. And they did a no-knock warrant. They have supposedly announced themselves. The family says no, that he was in bed with his girlfriend. They shot him and killed him. After they called the SWAT team in because his bedroom had a booby trap on the door. So I want to know, if they didn't announce themselves and he didn't know they were there and he was in bed with his girlfriend, you telling me he didn't notice the SWAT team was outside his bedroom door with his girlfriend trying to undo the booby trap?
I had neighbors. My dog let me know that SWAT was taking down the door across the street, and I was like, "What is he growling at?" He was growling at the dogs, the drug dogs, and they did not knock. They surrounded that building and watched them do it. And I called my husband and said, "Telling that the front door down because of his renties that he had." And basically, they, without knocking, if it's SWAT, they can go like that. I watched them do it, but it was during the day.
Right. But here's the thing. There was
early in the morning.
One article on this dude. There's not a huge story about this guy. There's not, press is not releasing all this trashy info on this dude that he just went to like a military camp that was about like, screw the government, hate the government, that, he was anti-COVID. He wants like a new world order. And like he was stocking up on weapons and all this craziness, right? So meanwhile, people are like, "Oh,
the point is
what?
I can't find his name.
Desmond, I think, maybe Desmond. It's on our page.
Jeffrey.
But this is my point, though. You don't see the media bringing up this guy's crazy ass history, but you know what? Just like they did in Georgia. They're posting that dude's mugshot. They're doing all that. But this dude's history ain't bringing up. They're like, oh, his family's like, he was shot in bed. He had his bedroom door booby trapped. That's not somebody who's innocent. That's somebody with a mental health condition. You do not booby trap your door to the point where the SWAT team got to come and fix your door because it's booby trap, bitch. That's some Goonies shit. Goonies booby trap your bedroom door, okay? That's not innocent. So white people, don't come at me about that dude using him as an excuse that nobody's crying over him, okay? That's not a good example. Don't come at me on the page talking about him. I don't care. That's the truth. I don't care. You want to talk to me about some shit? Don't come at me about him.
Listen, it doesn't matter what George did in his past. He still was murdered. It doesn't matter.
Exactly.
That's the point. That's a defense attorney. That's a defense attorney's tactic to discredit him for the police officer. That's obviously who's digging up the dirt because they're going to say, look, this was the reason. That's what a defense attorney does for his client. You always are going to dig up dirt on either side. They're going to start digging up dirt on their
ass like a hot potato, bitch.
Yes.
Hot potato.
And listen, they're going to start digging up dirt because it's going to go to trial. It's going to go to trial, and each side is trying to win their point. But the thing is, it doesn't matter what he does. Nobody deserves to die like that. And I get it. I understand because it wasn't necessary.
He wasn't have to send him out of the country to find a jury. I don't know where the hell they're going to find a jury that doesn't know about him.
That's a good point.
You're not going to find an impartial jury anywhere in this country at this point. It's not going to happen. Because either they're going to want to see him fry or they're going to believe he's innocent. It ain't going to happen. Not in this country.
Well, I mean, but he's guilty. He's guilty.
I heard he's on suicide watch.
So it's just, what is the proper punishment?
There's going to be people that are going to defend the guy. There's totally, absolutely. Are you kidding me? Dude, the craziest thing about all this is it's like the white sale has been brought on, okay? Like it's shocking to me the amount of like races that I didn't know that I knew. Like, and the people that have come out on our Facebook page, there was one dude, I was like, yo, I want to know how you keep the cone up at your meetings.
Oh.
Oh my God. Like, you're crazy.
Well,
No,
seriously. Like,
I don't get it, just because I've worked in restaurants my whole life, and we all sat around and said, do we feel that way? Like, we don't feel that way. We're a family. We collect money for each other when somebody gets sick, when someone's parent dies, for baby showers. Like, we, no matter who you are, no matter what color you are, we are a family. Like, and I said, people that probably get the most disrespected, and I hate this, is we call them the amigos, because they don't speak English and we don't know their names. And I said, can we get them name tags, or can we get them something? Because it's so offensive that I'm like, hey, amigo, can you wash these dishes? And he's just kind of like, yeah, because we don't understand each other. And I was like, and I said, but to sit here and think, like, I work with all different kinds of people, and they're my AJ's family. My owner, like, he hires everyone. He gives everyone second and third and fourth chances. He's like, it's such a mixture of people, and we all love each other so much. So it's just so crazy to me, because I'm not seeing that here. I'm not seeing the hate. We're all hanging out. We're all partying. We're all together. We're all laughing.
But also,
and
you're not
experiencing
any hate. So you're not seeing it, but you're also not. But maybe when your amigo friends go home and they go into other parts of the world, or they try and buy a car or a house, they experience it. Just because they're getting this amazing experience from you guys at work doesn't mean they're getting that same amazing experience everywhere else that they go.
Or maybe they're not thinking it's so amazing when they're getting called amigo.
True.
I know, and that is the problem, is because I try to say stuff. I don't know Spanish, so I'm like, can you help me? Like, rojo, like the rojo one, like the red. I'm like, how do you say this in Spanish? Like, and we had someone who was bilingual, and I was like so sad when he left, because he could communicate for us and we could talk to them, and it's just like, and I'm always like, well, make sure, ask them if they want cake, or ask them if they want to come out and sing for the birthday. Even though they can't sing, they can still be part of it. And I was like, and I said, when we sat down and thought about it, we're like, those are probably the people that get the rawest deal, just because we can't communicate with them. We wouldn't know if their mother passed away and collect money for them. We wouldn't know these things because we can't communicate with them, because none of us know Spanish. And, so that, like, I was like, to me, I don't know, because half of my staff is Black and they're my family. So I don't get it. I don't get the hate. Like, I love them. Like, I'd have their back 100%. So I don't really understand it, but we're not facing it here. They're not rioting here. We're not,
well,
and that here.
And you're not experiencing any violence from them, so you feel safe. I think if it was your job to patrol their neighborhood and they're saying, fuck the police, and they're doing all these things towards you when you're just trying to do your job, maybe your opinion would be different.
And honestly, when my daughter worked at my job, the person that I trusted to look out for her at night was a Black guy. I'm like, watch out for her. He's like, your family, I got you. So I'm like, let me know if anybody's messing with her. And he's like, no one's going to mess with her. I got her. And, so the thing is like, I don't get the hate. And I guess it's because my daughter's half Black. Like, she's wonderful. It doesn't matter what color she is. I've met evil in all colors and all shapes and all sizes. And it's not indicative to one race. It's just not. It's not.
As a mother, though, Marie, do you fear for your daughter? Do you fear that your daughter's facing racism? Yeah.
I don't. We talked about it, and I said, because...
Do you fear for her? Watching how other people...
People love my daughter. She just got into pharmacy school. She's going to be a pharmacist in 4 years. I mean, and her boyfriend is the whitest white boy you've ever seen in your life. He looks like Jake Gyllenhaal. But my daughter has dated all colors. Filipino, Samoan, white, half black. Like, I mean, I love them all. Like, it's not, I never see them for their color. I see them how they treat my daughter. And, for me, she's going to a very proud Black college here that's local. And they were very interested in her because she is a role model. She is somebody who could that school proud. She's smart. She's beautiful. She's biracial. She's driven. And that's the point. I think, so for me, I don't see it that way. And I think the only my family ever experienced brutality from police officers was my white nephew, because he was getting into trouble and they were harassing him. They were my sister had to move out of the area because the police were on his radar. He was 15 years old because he got involved with the wrong neighbors and was causing problems. And they were just at my sister's door every single day. They restrained him. They threw him on the ground. They did stuff, and he's has blonde hair and blue eyes. So I just, like I said, if cops are bad, they're bad. If they're not, they're not. It's such a hard situation. And I don't feel like it's just, I think if you get on their radar in a bad way, I think they just mess with you more. I don't know. My daughter's never been in trouble. So she's never had a run-in with the police ever.
Well, and I think
I'm
that's
not really
what,
sure.
I think that's kind of the point they were trying to make by posting Floyd's criminal record, right? By posting all of that, you're saying, oh, he's just a criminal. So they had cause to go after him. I think that's why they were posting bringing up all of his dirty laundry to say, oh no, he's not this sweet little innocent guy that couldn't breathe. He's this, criminal.
Nobody has cause to take life. That's not anybody's right to take a life. It's just not. I don't care what this person did. I don't care about people's past. Like, taking life is not your decision. And if you needed to arrest him, put him in cuffs, get him in your car, take him down and book him. And that's the biggest thing. And that was something I had to talk to my sister about with my nephew. I'm like, he needs to know not to resist arrest. We will come get him. If he didn't do anything and they really are harassing him, tell him, do not resist, just go. And we will come down there. We will bail him out. Mm-hmm. And I said to my daughter, I said, do you know that? Do you know that if they try to arrest you, not to resist and just to go, and I'll come get you? And she's like, yeah. She was like, if, I would know that I didn't do anything and you would. And I'm like, just remember that, just never resist, just always just go. But the sad part is the guy wasn't resisting. He was on the ground. So there's no excuse for what that police officer did.
And all of his other officers that were not helping either. All of the other officers that also just let it happen. They're guilty too.
Well, and I think we locked down the country for 2 months. We made small businesses go out of business. They didn't unemployment like they said. And then this happened. I think people had enough. And I think that was a contributing factor to why it is so bad right now. I think because of the COVID shutdown, that is exactly, I think tension was so high, and I don't think it would have been this bad if we hadn't just locked people in their homes 2 months and told them they couldn't leave. Mm-hmm. So I think that also played a part.
Our lockdown has been 4 months.
We're
still locked down over here. It's been 4 months.
And that's the point. I think people feel that their rights have been violated and police officers are killing people, and you're locking us up. You're shutting our businesses down. You're picking and choosing who gets to stay open. You're saying, oh, just stay home. We'll pay you. And they're not paying people. Mm-hmm. There's so many groups where people I work with people who have not gotten a penny from unemployment, have done everything, filed appeals. I work with people who did not get their stimulus checks, who didn't get anything. And the thing is people are pissed. And that's what it really boils. They're sick of it. They're sick of everything. And what George Floyd was like, he was he ignited the whole thing. Like, his death made people say, that's it, we're done. And I agree, something needs to be done. But like I said, the violence, I don't like the violence part of it.
No, I think everyone who committed violence and everyone who rioted should be put in jail. I don't think that just because you're frustrated and you're upset and, you think your rights have been violated, I don't think that gives you a reason to go hurt people, to go set things on fire, to cause damage to other people's property. Also, who's supposed to pay for that? Who do you think pays for
what if it comes out that the riots were started by white people?
Mm-hmm.
What if it comes out that the riots were started by white people? How will you feel about that then?
That doesn't change my opinion. That doesn't change my opinion that they should all be in jail at all. That doesn't change my opinion. Whoever did it should be in jail. Whoever caused all of that damage should be in jail. Whoever inflicted harm on someone else should be in jail. And whoever went and stole and caused any sort of damage like that should be in jail. And I'm seeing that people are saying in the chat room that the insurance companies will pay. Not really. I mean, a lot of my friends lost their entire business. And just because maybe the insurance company will pay you for your furniture, that doesn't mean that they're paying to replace your whole business. That doesn't mean you get everything back. You don't. A lot of these businesses will never come back. And that doesn't replace the years and years and years of blood, sweat, and tears that these people poured into their business and their whole life plan that was going just fine until some idiot decided to come along and wreck it for what I think is no good reason. I don't care what color the person is who started it. Put them in jail.
I don't agree. I don't disagree. That is an injustice. The people that run the small businesses that will never recover is a horrible injustice.
But even the people who run big businesses, why should Target have to pay or CVS have to pay because they've been demolished and destroyed? Why should they have to pay for some supposed injustice that some police officer that they've never met caused? I don't think just the small businesses experienced injustice. I think big businesses did as well. Pay for it? Pardon? What did you say? I didn't hear you.
Pay for it. The police officer can't pay for it.
Right. No, I know. I'm saying we, the people, will be paying for it. And that's not fair. I don't agree with that. I don't think I should have to pay to fix some property that some idiot destroyed. But that's what's going to happen.
More money was spent on corporate tax breaks than was cost by the riot. Does that bother you?
Yes, but that's not something that could have been entirely avoided. Yet these riots could have been entirely avoided.
Yeah.
If people didn't go throw bricks at other people's businesses, this wouldn't be an issue right now. The big business tax breaks, well, we got to work on that with whoever we elect, but that's a different story.
I think the point that Kat's saying is just like George deserved to die. He was innocent, he wasn't even doing anything. These small businesses did not deserve to be ruined because they didn't do anything.
It doesn't matter if he wrote a bad check for $6 million. He deserved a trial. If he was totally guilty of writing a bad check, if he walked into that grocery store and wrote a bad check for $1 million, he still deserved a trial.
Absolutely.
Exactly. But what we're saying is these small businesses that were ruined
did nothing wrong.
Deserve that either, and it's not fair to them because they didn't do anything. And that's the hard part is like if you say that somebody didn't deserve the outcome of what's going on right now, you're the bad guy because who cares about these small businesses that got burned down? A man died. You're right, but none of it's right. None of it's okay. And to say it's okay, what are we teaching our children? So if you get mad, so if a man
I don't
kills
say it's
his wife,
okay.
It's not. Look,
I'm not
I'm not
saying it's
telling
okay at all.
Aiden to go burn down a fucking Target because you're oppressed.
but you are. If you say
No,
it's okay,
no,
if you say
no,
fair, it's
no.
not
What
okay.
I'm saying, okay, but you know what? You know
No.
what, Marie? Stonewall, they rioted because gay people were being killed. Like as a kid, like you know what? We talked about it that I wasn't really scared or anything, but at the end of the day, you know what? When I walk, I still have to worry about. Or when Joe and I traveled through the country and we'd have one suitcase and we'd go into a hotel, like you think we weren't scared when we were in the middle of fucking nowhere because we had one suitcase and they'd be like, "You want 2 beds?" No. But you think we weren't worried that somebody wasn't going to go fuck up our car or go blow that bitch up?
And you
Absolutely.
think that us women hold on. But do you think that us women aren't worried that we're going to get out of a van to be sold into sex labor? Yes, we're all worried because these things are real.
Well, they wouldn't want
These
me
things happen.
anymore.
Like when somebody was driving around Destin snatching girls, you think that I wasn't scared for my because I was. But we have to teach our children to be careful.
Right. But there was
we
the
have
women's
to teach our children
rights movement.
Teach our
women's
children
rights
that
changed. But you know what? Nobody cared about the gay people. They used the Bible against us. So they had to riot to make some noise. And over time, things have slowly changed, but it's still not there. Tennessee,
I care about the I care about the gay
right,
people.
but you do. But you know
care.
what? Tennessee right now is banning freaking gay people from adopting children. Right now,
which is not
today,
right. And you know what? It's not right there.
2020, they are banning gay people from adopting children.
Jeffrey, you were the last portion, just like people. You guys couldn't get married. You guys had no rights. Just like when women couldn't vote, and just everything else that is going on. It's a progression in time, but the principle that we need to teach our children: violence is not the answer.
So I'm
ever.
not telling
that
Aiden
is the problem.
to go out and burn down a store. But when I got to tell Aiden that he's got to be worried about when he gets pulled over when he's older, or that he's got to be worried about if God forbid, that he's got to be that his life is different.
Yes,
and because he's got emotional problems.
Do not resist, and do not talk back.
Like
no,
life is different for him, just like it is for Daddy. I don't want him to have that life. That his life is going to be different than his 2 brothers.
It's not different for my brother too.
Like it needs to change, and it needs to change now, and there needs to not be any more excuses. So I'm sorry, but if you know what, Target needs to burn for that, for fucking Donald Trump to wake the fuck up and stop going and holding a Bible in front of a fucking church and gassing people for it because he's a fucking idiot that doesn't understand that more things matter than money, then that's what I think needs to happen. Yeah. Too bad. So if the racist people on my Facebook page can't handle it.
What about the safety?
Okay, do I think people should be killed? No, that's evil. If you're killing people, that's evil. Killing people is evil. I'm not looking. A building, it's a building. You're right. Some people don't have insurance, but thank God we have lovely people in this country. We have GoFundMes. We have all kinds of things we can do.
Okay, so what about the security
killing people? No.
That they killed? Okay, so the black security guard that they killed because they wanted to rob a store and he was trying to protect his friend's store.
Look, obviously, I am not supporting murdering people.
TV, like
an eye for an eye
because
is not.
Because
Vera, are you? Oh, where the hell's Vera?
Can't control themselves.
Vera,
when it gets to that point, when it gets so hyped up,
what,
and there's so many people, and there's so much hysteria.
Are you an eye for an eye?
People
are you
get
okay
hurt.
with the murdering, the people getting murdered and all this?
I haven't heard you.
Are you okay with people being murdered?
Can you ask that question again?
Can she hear me at all?
No, she can't hear you.
Okay with murdering?
Like, the people that are being murdered, like, she's like, there's people being murdered. I'm not okay with the people being murdered throughout this. Like, that's evil. The people that are.
I'm not okay with murder. I'm not okay with crime.
No.
But.
Well, Jeffrey's okay with crime. He just draws the line at the murder, but he's cool with burning things
I'm
down.
saying that throughout history, this is what has happened to make change
I'm
happen.
not cool with any crime. But I think that police brutality should be as much of a crime. Police brutality should be as much of a crime as anything else. I'm not
agree
okay
with that.
the crime. I'm not okay with the fact that he might have written the bad check. If he wrote the bad check, then he deserves to go to jail. But he deserves a trial.
When's Donald Trump gonna pay attention? That's what I want to know. When's he gonna pay attention? Instead of I'm sending military out, wake the fuck up, Donnie.
Well, hold up. Listen, people are listening. This is getting attention.
I'm not okay with Donnie at all.
He is going down for murder too, and all of the other police officers have been arrested and charged. And
how long did it take?
They'll probably get killed in jail. So listen,
they're getting it right up
they're
the
going to
ass.
get something, and it's not going to be good. So
no lube. They deserve it.
Oh.
Quite frankly, their life in jail is going to be hell. It would be more humane to put them to death.
Yeah, it would. It would. But they don't deserve that either.
I don't think their life in jail is going to be anything but hell.
You know what? Karma's a bitch.
So, I mean,
they're not going to get the death penalty.
It would be more humane to put them to death.
But isn't that what the police say?
As a peace-loving hippie, I don't believe in the death penalty.
Oh, you don't want to do the time. Don't
trial that he. Honestly, Jeffrey, I
love all of you. I love that we don't
suffering.
agree, because that's what makes the show uncensored, right, bitches?
Mm-hmm.
I love you all.
We didn't agree on much.
No, and that's why I love you, and I think everybody has a point of view, and I think that's what makes the show.
Listen, I love you.
The show.
We're getting on Target. You are so mean.
Listen, bitch, you got the ignorant genes from your father.
Don't let Target burn. That was
You
wrong.
got the ignorant genes.
Wrong. The people need Target. Do you know what
She
I
got
did?
her daddy genes.
I went to Target once a week. That's what I did.
Listen, you know I hate Walmart. That's for poor people.
Once.
I went to Target. That was my shit, but I don't care. Racism.
But you're talking about Target burning down. Like they don't deserve. Target's a nice store. They're nice.
Exactly.
Nice
I'm
store.
just saying,
Like,
why? And then Target also tweeted, couldn't y'all have gone to Walmart?
Did it really?
That made me love them so much more. Target.
Oh.
Yes. Okay. All right. Listen.
Come on now. That was brilliant.
I do concur. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I hate Walmart.
That's another topic. And the words expressed by Jeffrey Emmett do not mimic the words and feelings. Thank you.
Really?
The thoughts and opinions of Jeffrey Emmett, Luke Shaw, Kay
out of the last
do not
hour.
represent all the hosts of Uncensored Radio.
That's what everybody's worried about over that whole hour, is the fact that I would prefer
that you're going to get us banned by possible Walmart sponsorships after you get us banned from Facebook.
Sorry, Walmart. I love you too. I don't want any. Listen, I would love to see the world in a peaceful place. I would love to see nothing being burned down.
Yes.
I would love to see racism end and the world be filled with fucking rainbows blowing out of everybody's ass and sunshine. But that's not going to happen in my lifetime. I hope that it does.
Well, we just got to try and make it better for your kids' lifetime.
Well, we can try to do it one person at a time.
I just, honestly, exactly. For our children, we need to, try to make it better for them, because, like I said, the violence and the police brutality, it's not okay. And something does need to change. I agree with that. People shouldn't die just because of the color of their skin, because the police don't know how to restrain somebody, or do and are doing it wrong. I'm not really sure. Maybe they need some more training, something.
Definitely. I think so. Very much how Luke said in Australia, all of the police officers have to experience any of the force that they're allowed to give. I think we should do that here if we don't already.
Could you imagine what his poor wife went through?
Yes.
That's probably why she filed for divorce real quick.
Retraining.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they have this wonderful company called Verbal Judo. Check it out. It's for police training. No, seriously. It's called Verbal Judo. That's
That
exactly
sounds
what
like
it
a
does.
fake name.
No, it's a wonderful company.
I thought you were joking.
No, it is for police training, and it's to de-escalate them so that this shit doesn't happen. And I think the guy that created this company was a genius, and his wife is now running it, and she has amazing partners. Her name is Pam Thompson, folks. It's called Verbal Judo. I think everybody should go look it up and then maybe go send that to your local police departments and maybe have them train their officers in verbal judo, because it's all about de-escalation and having the police use verbal.
Well, also, I think maybe the police should just go to judo class. I used to do judo, throw people around, feel real good afterwards.
Verbal judo. Verbal.
I like the other kind too.
Honey, we're not talking about the bedroom.
On that note,
make sure you guys are following us on YouTube, youtube.com/uncensored radio. Also, make sure you like us on our Facebook page, facebook.com/my uncensored radio. You can also follow us on Twitter and Instagram at @liveucr.
And please let us know what your favorite sexual preference is. Position. I know. We'd like to know.
So Jeffrey and James, I have to ask you this: if a gay customer calls you bitch because of makeup and hair and stuff, is that a good thing or a bad thing? You said I was a bougie bitch.
A bougie bitch.
Like, they said it wasn't insulting.
Karen called me a bougie bitch all the time. Are you kidding?
Is that a good thing?
I wear that crown.
It's a good thing.
It's a good thing.
Is that a bad thing?
No, being called bougie.
I
is
do
good.
wear the
You
most
feel good
makeup out of
taste.
work.
Honey.
Okay, he's like, oh, that bougie. He's like, oh, that
Take the
bougie
gift,
bitch over
own it.
there.
That's the
That's
good
what he
thing.
said.
Mm-hmm.
I was feeling quite bougie when I flew to Missouri because I was first class, although it sucked. No drink service, no bottle service, no alcohol, no nothing. I just got an oversized seat.
That's so unfair. That's injustice.
Yes.
This bitch.
Don't come at me. Don't come at me. Injustice is in all forms, people. And if you pay for first class and you don't get it, that's a form of
and
injustice.
please also remember, part of the show is comedy. So,
yeah.
I meant what I said about the French.
This bitch.
But
Okay.
it's a lovely country. I like to go there.
All right.
enjoy it.
We love you. We're going to be filming some content for YouTube. So pay attention this weekend. You might see us doing some cat calls. I'm just saying.
Meow.
Love you, kids. We'll see you next week. Bye.
Okay.
Bye.